Frank. It was released in 2009, and it was 5 episodes, and the entire running time is about 2.5 hours long, and the director is Jon Jones. I originally saw it on PBS. It was part of like their Masterpiece classics series. Like they would do stuff like Jane Eyre and Pride and Prejudice, like a lot of Charlotte Bronte and Jane Austen stuff. But that's when I originally saw it, and so this miniseries basically just talks about, if you don't know about Anne Frank, she was a young girl that lived during the time of the Nazi regime, and they basically and they talk about it in this miniseries where they try to find a hiding place because they were I think they called Gestapos or something, would go around the Jewish people, like their homes, and take them away. And so the father, Otto Frank, where he worked was a place where they processed spices, and so there they had an annex, so like a little house, like it was like a tall building, and it had, I'm not sure how many rooms, but it had several rooms, and then it had an attic, and then below the annex, that's the warehouse where they kept the spices. So when they went into hiding in that annex, they had to basically be very careful, when they did certain things, because the workers would go into the warehouse and be working, and they would be hiding above them. So and so they go into hiding for about 2.5 years. It's Anne Frank, Otto Frank, which is her father, her mother, her sister, and then another family of 3. So the 2 parents, mom and dad, and the son, and then a dentist. So that was all of the people that were in that annex, and they hid for about 2 years. And then at the end of those 2 years, they basically get found out, and the authorities go in and take them out, and they take them to concentration camps, and the only person that survived was Otto Frank. And so that's kind of the main part that they cover in this miniseries. And like some of the things that I really liked about just, I guess, this portrayal of the story. So this is based on real events, and based on her diary. Anne Frank, she's a real person that this happened to. And one of the things that stood out is that I also read listened to an audiobook of the Diary of Anne Frank, and then I rewatched this miniseries. And even in her book, and in this miniseries, you can just tell how she and Frank was, I feel like, just for her age, she was about, I think, 13 when she went into hiding. And just how she carried herself, and she had a very good sense of who she was and what she wanted and what she wasn't gonna put up with, like, and especially like the times that in the time that she was alive, like there was a lot of, you know, focus on political things that were going on. So in that environment, like, I guess that's one of the reasons why she was very interested in those things, because it was something so important to their survival. And so she had that part of, you know, being a young kid and being mischievous and rebellious, but she was very very knowledgeable about a lot of things and stuff that I feel like nowadays most of people her age, like, I feel like she would be far above kind of what kids her age would be thinking nowadays. And even in her time, I feel like the way that she describes her friends in the diary, like, she was very self-aware and just inquisitive about the world. And that alone is just very refreshing to hear and to see in this series. And also I feel like just looking at the way that they had to live in that annex, like, you know, they had to eat at certain times, you know, use the restroom at certain times. It was very, I feel like it was very stressful, the conditions that they were living in. And so what I got from it is just, apart from who she was as a person, is just how we kind of take for granted a lot of things that we have. You know, living in a time where our survival is not so much in I guess, like, we're not being persecuted, most of society. Some people are, you know, we just don't hear about it in remote areas of the world. But I think for most people, you're not daily thinking of who's gonna come and get me, who's gonna come into the house and take us away and go kill us, just because of what we believe in. You know, we're not hurting anybody, but for them, they were living during very, you know, stressful situations, and you know, just made me realize, yeah, like, this is something that I think about, you know, at other times, but just that's what I took away from it. And then also that even though they were going through these things, that, like, her and also her sister and the other, the son of the other family, like, they were just very into their studies. Like, even despite all those things that were going on, you know, there was bombings and war going on around them, that they were still thinking about their studies and learning about math and all these things. And maybe that's one of the things that kind of kept them going and not completely breaking down, you know, is having that to focus on and having that mindset that, you know, once the war is over, that they are going to go back to their lives and go to school and all this, you know, and not be behind. So maybe I think that helped them a lot, especially, hearing from Anne's perspective, through the diary, and, a lot of, in the series you can hear her voice, kind of reading passages of her diary. And I feel like, it's a story that shows, someone that was very, going through her growth of being a child and becoming more mature, and that transition, and also her, like, she didn't just go along with things, like she had a sense of self and autonomy, and I think that is very empowering to see in such a young girl, and then feeling kind of, that is such a good quality to have. And I really enjoyed it, and especially because it was based on actual events, I would highly recommend it. And also the acting on her part, everyone else too, but her, she delivered her lines and the way she expressed it, and she really took on that role, and that those kind of layers that was within her as a character. And I think that the girl that played her did a very good job at doing that, and kind of taking what was written in that diary and really getting a sense of who she was as a person. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you again. Bye.